Thank you for choosing to watch the Watchman News Headlines video. Our full episodes can now be seen over at Patreon with much more added content for just $2 a month. Link is in the description. If you cannot afford $2 a month, please consider using our Amazon affiliate link, purchasing from our Teespring store, or making a PayPal donation. All links are below. In order for us to grow, we have to make changes to enable it. Our time is valuable, and we have been one of the very few news sources actually dedicated to bringing you honest, hard-hitting, actionable news and information. Plus, for your $2 a month, you do not have to hear me blabber about these links. It's a win for us all.
Bullshit.
Thank you. Good evening, watchmen and watchwomen of YouTube. So, first off, I want to thank our 6th patron. I forgot last night to mention the 5th. We had another one yesterday, which made our 5th. We got our 6th patron today. It's our first $12 patron, which that means we start the threat assessment live streams on Fridays and the group Zoom calls on Saturdays. So, super excited about that. And I want to welcome them, and I want to still welcome you on over to the light side. We call this the dark side over here. I want to welcome you to the light side. Come on over and join us. So, cover a lot of stuff. We do cover a lot of stuff. Tonight we talked about the stimulus and ideas of what to do with it. We talked about where we are in the process of getting said stimulus. And that was the subject for tonight. But we also talked about a lot of things. It wasn't just the stimulus stuff. So, kind of an open mic night, no pun intended. So, anyway, let me get on to the headlines and go from there. So, all right. Starting out with, I do have one here from last night, possibly two. I can't remember. Biden sets low bar on school reopenings, targets resuming in-person teaching at half of schools 1 day a week by late April. Another one from last night. Nobody will call it that. Netizens puzzled after racist Aunt Jemima syrup and pancakes rebranded as Pearl Milling Company. And I know I saw both bottles, a side-by-side comparison. And it's like, really? I mean, nobody is going to make that connection. And, there's a lot of people that like Aunt Jemima. It's good syrup. I'm going to call it Aunt Jemima. I could care less about this Pearl Milling Company thing. It's going to be Aunt Jemima till I take my last breath. And it's not because I'm racist. It's because that's Aunt Jemima, and you're actually doing a disservice to that woman and her family by making that name change. I mean, it really is sad that the PC crowd pushed that because even the family had spoke out against the name change, that the family spoke out against it. It didn't matter. The PC woke crowd won. So sad, really is. Oathkeeper, this is from this morning, or news that I put out this morning. Oathkeeper accused of leading Capitol rioters is a former FBI section chief who had top secret security clearance, a lawyer says. Have I not called this as a setup? Did I not, on the very day that this happened, call this a setup? Man, there are clear indicators, and if you're not really caught up into political factions and rooting for this politician or that politician, you can see this stuff much more clearly. And that's what I saw from day one was a setup. That is what I'm still calling it, and I think it's going to come out. It's going to be real obvious to the general public before it's all said and done. So keep your eye out on it. Car makers slammed by semiconductor shortage. That should be something that we pay attention to because there's a lot of industries that could be affected by that. Police, and by the way, with all the bickering back and forth between U.S. and China and other nations and stuff, there could be a shortage for some time. There certainly could be a shortage for some time. Police use water cannons to disperse mob as ultra-Orthodox Jews continue violent resistance to COVID rules in Jerusalem. Atlanta's landmark Krispy Kreme donut shop goes up in flames as firefighters battle blaze. Wonder if all the police were. Never mind, I won't go there. Some 3,000 pigs. Wait. No, different topic. Some 3,000 pigs ordered to be culled in Hong Kong after African swine fever outbreak. Sorry, I had to. The devil made me do it. Moscow issues international arrest warrant for Leonid Volkov, Lithuania-based Navalny ally who called for mass protest in Russia. Don't rely on U.S. intel. WHO team member bats away at Washington's scrutiny of COVID fact-finding mission to China. Well, I'll bat away at it too. And the U.S. government, both. You're both on my shit list. China and East Asian economies boost global market share amid pandemic, says the UN. UFO spotted off Florida coast triggers wild theories, but experts suspect Trident missile test. No exact date for when Britons can legally go on a holiday again, says UK Transport Secretary. India to overtake EU as world's third largest energy consumer by 2030, says the IEA. I used to say the IAEA for, IEA. EIOU, sometimes Y, but sometimes, not always. Eurospeak, attempt by German-led EU to monopolize European identity and values, is fueling animosity and destabilizing the continent. South Africa considers selling or swapping its AstraZeneca vaccine stash over efficacy concerns. It's okay, I don't want any. Elton John and Michael Caine encourage remaining at-risk Britons to get COVID-19 vaccine. Scientists make significant step forward in quest for Parkinson's disease cure. Good news. China urges Canada to end Cold War mentality and stop unprovoked smear attacks after it claims Beijing is national security threat. Back in Brussels after disastrous visit to Moscow, Borrell performs about turn lobbying EU members for more anti-Russia sanctions. I think he got his feelings hurt. Japan could be forced to toss out millions of vaccine doses due to shortage of suitable syringes. China announces disengagement with Indian forces along disputed border. Specific protein deficiency in the U.S. and Europe may have caused faster spread than in Asia, says an Indian study. I do want to back up a little bit. Let's hope that this isn't relocating troops for a different possible conflict. Just kind of wanted to point that out. Iranian FM warns Biden the window for cooperation is closing rapidly as Tehran threatens to deviate further from the nuclear pact. I keep telling you to keep an eye out on this. NATO orders warships into the Black Sea as bloc's hysterical chief calls for Ukraine to join and stop Russia's plan to conquer the ex-USSR. Now, I know that they're ordering warships into the Black Sea, but have you looked at a map? Because I have. Because I needed to. Yeah, just being real. Alright, so here's the Black Sea. And this is where NATO wants to order troops. Now, the Ukraine is here. We get why they say that they want to put troops here, or put ships here. But let me show you something else. We have troops still in Afghanistan, right? Let me back out a little bit. Right here. We have troops still in Afghanistan. Now, here's the thing to think about. We have troops in Afghanistan. The Arabian Sea has rather easy access, does it not? You've got Bay of Bengal over there, which really isn't important. Red Sea here, Gulf of Aden. Here's the Persian Gulf, okay? So you got Afghanistan, where we've already got troops. You've got the Persian Gulf, where we send warships all the time, okay? So if we had ships in the Black Sea, we've already got a lot of troop movement through northern Turkey, right? Look at what we're doing. We are surrounding Iran. Think about that. Ukraine launches campaign to force Twitter to strip blue checkmark from Russian Foreign Ministry's Crimean account. Europol detains, or something like that, 10 hackers over $100 million cryptocurrency theft from celebrities. Erdogan tells Greek PM to know his limit and calls two-state solution Cyprus the only option. Germany offered U.S. dirty deal to drop sanctions against Nord Stream 2 environmentalist claim. Twitter reports 1.14 billion net loss for 2020. Excuse me, I had to pop my neck. All coronavirus particles in the world would fit inside a can, says British mathematician. So you can go get yourself a can of coronavirus. Super Bowl streaker claims he won $375,000 by betting on himself making the field dash, but others are skeptical. And he said it cost him $1,000 to get out of jail, so if that's true, he's up $374,000 at this point. And he wasn't naked. I mean, he wore that goofy bathing suit, whatever, and shorts, so it's not like he was completely naked. You could get me to dress like that and run across a football field for $374,000. Absolutely, I'd do that for $374,000. UK needs to get used to the idea of revaccinating later this year amid new British COVID-19 variants, says Johnson. I mean, come on, who wouldn't? I mean, that's $374,000. It's not like he's completely nude, and he's got a mask, right? Safe and sexy. Well, maybe not the sexy part, but hey. New poll reveals little support for pro-Navalny rallies in Russia, with vast majority opposed or indifferent to demonstrations. Oh, God. Even the dog huffed me. My jokes suck. Vaccine passports will likely be needed to travel abroad, but still no plans for domestic ID, UK Transport Secretary says. We've got the most incredible dog, I'm telling you. Star-Spangled Banner kneeling to wokeness. NBA's Dallas Mavericks cancel national anthem before home games. Russia announces development of new COVID-19 test with accurate results in less than 2 hours, much faster than conventional PCR. We are not where we wanted to be, European Commission boss admits COVID-19 vaccination shortcomings. India's row with Twitter escalates after social media site refuses to block more than 1,000 accounts. Dozens of people develop rare blood disorder after taking coronavirus vaccines, says reports. Tianwen-1 probe successfully enters Mars orbit in China's first independent mission to the Red Planet. Israeli military ombudsman slams IDF for poor response to coronavirus pandemic. New Zealand issues tsunami activity warning after 7.7 magnitude earthquake in South Pacific. God willing, we are going to the moon. Turkish President Erdogan announces country's first lunar mission in 2023. Everybody's racing for a space force. Choose your own algorithm. Twitter's Dorsey wants to create decentralized platform giving users total control over what they see. I'm not buying it. If this happens, it's going to be nothing but a honeypot. You've already got a platform, dude. Why don't you just, give us control a bit, right? Honeypot. That's the answer. When you're removed, you're removed. Twitter chief says Trump ban is permanent even if he's reelected. See, kind of stark opposites there, right? Criminal probe into attempts to influence the 2020 U.S. election in Georgia targets Trump, the media claims. Oh, man. Tired. Activist claims LA cops playing copyrighted music to keep videos of interactions with the public off social media. Wake-up call for Ukrainian PM in Brussels as top EU official says Kiev remains hindered by criminals and widespread corruption. Navalny's doctor, who never actually treated activists liquidated in secret Kremlin plot, say conspiracy-loving Western media. Sri Lanka U-turns over COVID-19 Muslim burial roll after international backlash. An AP NORC poll says a third of U.S. adults are skeptical of the COVID shots. Not surprising. I would probably say it's more than a third. Double masking can block 92% of infectious particles, the CDC says. So double mask now. I don't know where they get these people. Even prisoners get to exercise. UC Berkeley bans solo outdoor exercise for dorm-bound students. Chicago teachers agree to resume in-person classes, after being vaccinated contrary to CDC guidelines, with high schools left out. South Africa to give up to 50,000, South Africa to give up to 500,000 health workers Johnson & Johnson COVID jab amid AstraZeneca efficacy concerns. A Russian communist politician and YouTube star Bondarenko accused of violating corruption laws after attending a Navalny protest. There's another article about 2 masks. Israel finally begins vaccinating Palestinians, but only those with Israeli work permits. Even a child-murdering clown wears a mask. Hollywood Supercut shows famous characters with masks on to endorse face coverings. Mutants are reality. German extends. Man, I'm telling you, I'm wore out. Germany extends lockdown until March 7th as Merkel urges caution over COVID-19 variants. Biden's budget nominee, Neera Tanden, grilled over calling Bernie Sanders everything but an ignorant slut at contentious hearing. I'm just reading the headline. UK Boris Johnson cautions against booking summer holidays and says it's too early to predict what COVID-19 rules will allow by then. Biden unveils Pentagon China task force to review challenge Beijing poses as U.S. military flexes muscles at its doorstep. More war drums beating. You say the wrong thing, you lose your position. Guardian columnist reveals he was fired over tweets criticizing Israel. Senators to hear opening arguments as Trump fumes over trial. EU making Russia into phantom enemy for geopolitical reasons, shouldn't lecture others about democracies, the Irish MEP says to RT. Biden press secretary backs Mark Cuban's decision to ban national anthem, only for NBA to say all teams will have to play it. Calls to fire The Mandalorian star Gina Carano for equating Holocaust victims with Republicans in post against political hate. And that's the headlines. With that, I am out of here. I am beat. I am tired. I am beyond ready for bed tonight. So, hope everybody has a good night. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. See you then. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit. Shalom.